Hello, Garland Nixon here. And the strange saga of the public relations spokesperson for the Armed Forces of Ukraine continues. Let's talk. Hello, Garland here, and it really been strange stuff here. The the spokesperson for the Armed Forces of Ukraine is an American. That's the first part, an American. Certainly, we're to believe that Ukraine is an independent, sovereign nation. Can you imagine? Imagine for one moment. Imagine, if you will, Mexico, and the government of Mexico falls, and all of a sudden the vice president of Russia is in Mexico running everything, and Vladimir Putin's son is on the Mexican energy board collecting all kinds of money. There's Russians running all over the place, and then there's a Russian spokesperson for the armed forces of Mexico as they pledge to murder Americans. Imagine that. I don't imagine that anybody in the United States would have a problem with that. We'd be fine with that, don't you think? I don't. Well, let's look. So we've got this strange, weird spokesperson for the armed forces of Ukraine, this angry person who does these videos with vitriol. And you can tell, here's the problem. Here's the other thing I'll say about it. It's not just vitriol. It's contrived vitriol. It's practiced anger. It looks contrived. It's one thing if I'm pissed at you and I'm like, you son of a gun, you really anger me. It's another thing is if you can tell that I'm reading, and that there's as Zelensky being an actor, there's stage commands on there where it's like, okay, now I'm supposed to look angry. There will be the weeping and gnashing of teeth. Contrived. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go through the videos. We're going to start with the first one. We're going to see what we can see. And it may take me a second to get them straight, but there's 3 videos. There we go. So let's start with the one that caused all the uproar. This is the one and only. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Sarah Ashton-Cirillo.
Russia hates the truth that their obsessive focus on a Ukrainian volunteer is simply allowing the light of the Ukrainian nation's honesty to shine brightly. Next week, the teeth of the Russian devils will gnash ever harder.
Look at that
and
mug.
their rabid mouths will
She's
foam in uncontrollable frenzy as the world will see a favorite Kremlin propagandist pay for their crimes.
Pay.
And this puppet of Putin is only the first. Russia's war criminal propagandists will all be hunted down, and justice will be served as we in Ukraine are led on this mission by faith in God, liberty, and complete liberation. Russia hates the truth that their obsessive focus on a Ukrainian volunteer is simply allowing.
All righty. So hopefully now we can crack. This thing drives me nuts. All right, let's go here. Let's get rid of that. My darn. Oh, the pains I go through. There we go. The pains I go through. I think that stops screen. All righty. Having a little struggle here with my screen. I don't know why. Okay, so let us continue. So you got that, right? You've got a person it's what the rappers back in the 90s called mean mugging, right? Doing this mean look. A practice mean look, too. Mean mugging, man. The Russians are going to pay. And the message is pretty clear. Let's first unpack the message from Sarah Ashton-Cirillo. The message is, next week, a Russian propagandist which that means journalists like you, me, or any number of alternative media people who are trying simply to add an alternative perspective, to interpret the events as best we can in the most truthful and honest way that we can. So Sarah Ashton-Cirillo says next week, I guess that would be this week, a Russian propagandist will pay. And that Russian propagandist will be the first, but not the last, right? They're going to pay, and they're going to pay, and we're going to hunt them down, and one by one, right? Meaning we don't respect borders. We'll go all over the world. We're coming to your country. Do you understand me? We're coming to your country. United States, Canada, China. It doesn't matter where. We don't respect boundaries. We're globalists. And so we're going to come to your country, and we're going to find anybody who's saying things we don't like, and we're going to kill them. I mean, let's face it. They're saying they're going to pay for their crimes. Do you think they meant that they were going to charge them a fee? Do you think they were going to like come up with like calculated number? Hey, we've calculated that you owe us approximately $275. How would you like to pay this? Cash, PayPal? We take cards. No. What they're saying is we're going to find people, hunt them down, who have been saying things that we don't like, and we're going to kill them. And one of them's going to get it next week. And after that, one by one, them sons of bitches are going to get it. We're going to knife them. We're going to cut their throats. We're going to hang them. We're going to shoot them, blow their cars up, throw them off a bridge, whatever we can do. We're taking them out. You're dead men. Every stinking, filthy one of you, you are dead men, right? That is the, I would say, a reasonable interpretation of what Sarah Ashton-Cirillo has said. Now, God forbid that I can actually have enough sense to figure out this computer. We're going to now go to another, let's see, darn it, I have the time, but so there's another video. Let's find it. Let us find it. So here's the next video. What I think this was, oh, what a time I'm having. I think what this was, doggone it, because maybe I can move, because I'm unable. What's happening here is share screen. Okay, this will work. I'm going to share this. No, it won't work. This won't work. All right. That's okay. Don't worry. I'm working on it. I am working on it. I'm going to get it right. Share that. Maybe. You in Telegram. Open Telegram. Let's see if that's what's showing. Doggone it, I'm having a time here. So I got to figure out how to share something from Telegram. Let me see. That one, no. That one, no. That one. Maybe I can't share Telegram. I don't know. At any rate, so there was another video. So here's what we're going to do since I can't share. So the bottom line is Sarah Ashton-Cirillo made another video, and then that video attempted to walk back things a little bit and then say, well, we're going to find these Putin puppets, propagandists, and we're going to take them to The Hague, where they'll sit justice in The Hague. Now, that is an attempt to walk back the prior week, because we certainly can let's face it, none of us are stupid. We can interpret what was said before to mean we're going to find these Russian propagandists and we're going to kill them. It was pretty clear they're going to pay, hunt down and pay. We're not stupid. We're not stupid. Now, this other guy, if I can find it, if I can ever figure out how to do this thing. All right, let's find this one. Here we go. No. Okay. I'm having a time, but we're going to get it right. Let's present. Let's share the screen. Let's go to. All right. We're going to get it. Sorry. I apologize for everybody, to everybody. There we go. All right. Let's try this. I do want to get this video. Okay. So I finally got it. So this is the latest video. Share screen. Boom. Let's share this screen. Let's make it big and let's play this guy.
The remaining speculation surrounding me is disappointing.
I'm sorry, but Ukraine is not a serious country. This is who they chose to represent them to the entire English-speaking world. So C3P Meme, who is, I would say, the greatest meme maker on planet Earth, altered the video and did the impossible. He actually made it even more cringeworthy.
Senator Vance recently asked the U.S. Director of National Intelligence, along with the Secretaries of State and Defense, if I was working in some capacity for the American government. Simply put, I'm an American serving as a Ukrainian infantry soldier and combat medic who was brought from the zero line and assigned to the TDF's media team in the dual role of spokesperson and Russian disinformation analyst. The remaining speculation surrounding me is disappointing. While in Ukraine, we are fighting for global liberty and the ideology of victory.
The remaining speculation surrounding me is disappointing.
I'm sorry, but Ukraine is not a serious country.
All righty. So that's the latest. C3P Meme did a fantastic job of superimposing Joe Biden's face over the face of Sarah Ashton-Cirillo. I thought that was hilarious. But the bottom line is this: I couldn't show you the other video, unfortunately, because I can't figure out how the hell to show a video in Telegram. But whatever the case may be, here's what appears to have happened. These are my thoughts, and I'm just guessing. So apparently this meme comes out, and now recently the armed forces of Ukraine have come out and said something to the effect of, look, this wasn't approved by the people up top, so Sarah Ashton-Cirillo is going to be suspended, right? Okay, let's start here. Sarah Ashton-Cirillo put this thing out on Twitter, and this video was out for like, I don't know, a week or so, and then all of a sudden they wake up one day, hey, this video that's been all over the place for the last week, that has received media scrutiny all over the world, that has gotten memes, been panned, been mocked all over the world for the last week. Yeah, we didn't really even know it was out there. I mean, it slipped past us. And you know, we didn't know it was there. It slipped past us. Now it somehow came to our attention, and we looked at it and we decided to say, no, Sarah Ashton-Cirillo, you made it like you made an error, as though this person did it on their own. Nobody knew what was happening, and then released this Twitter video. I find it hard to believe, particularly when you read it, when you look at what was said, listen to what was said, and you know that the lighting was done. Everything was set up, because this is the PR person for the AFU. The lighting, everything was good. You can tell that it was being read, right? That Sarah Ashton-Cirillo was reading this thing, and there had been a great deal of practice, because you could see this. Having done TV before, I can tell you it was very poorly done. It looked very contrived. Sarah Ashton-Cirillo will never be, mistaken for a great Hollywood, a brilliant star by any stretch of the imagination. It was cringeworthy, and it wasn't evaluated for pure evilness. When somebody talks like, the Putin propagandist will be hunted down and they will pay. Do you understand me? They will pay with their filthy little lives. Every last one of them will pay, right? When you get that, you realize that nobody evaluated that and thought, well, maybe it's a little over the top, perhaps. No, it because it's not over the top. Here's the other part about this thing we've gotta talk about. That's who these people are. That's the reality of who these people are. We're dealing with, as they've been called, vanilla ISIS, right? We're dealing with people of a, shall we say, an ideology that was quite popular, and in Central Europe in the 1940s, particularly in Germany, and that it was a mustachioed gentleman from Australia was at the center of it. Those kinds of people, that kind of thought process is a thought process of evil, of violence, of retribution. It is one of anger. I hate this group of people. And interestingly enough, it's the same group of people they hate, the Russians. Those people in the 1930s who also seem to sport much of the same, have sported much of the same iconography as the people who Sarah Ashton-Cirillo represents, were angry people. They were violent people. They were murderous people. And they were propaganda. They were big on propaganda. Hey, wait a minute. It kind of sounds like the Biden administration, but that's not important now. No wonder the Biden administration is aligned with the armed forces of Ukraine people, right? So basically, as I see it, we have a person who really, I'll put it like this. I haven't seen anything come out of Ukraine that more clearly represented the government of Ukraine, the sentiments, the passion, the culture of Western Ukraine that was cultivated by the CIA since 1955 and its anti-Russian push, that was cultivated and brought to power and prominence in Ukraine by the Biden people and the Obama administration, the U.S. Neocon government, Lindsey Graham, Republicans, Democrats alike, the duopoly, brought to power and prominence after 2014, after the United States overthrew the government and took over power. These are the kinds of people. This is the thought process. And it's a thought process first and foremost. The United States, the neocons, at first and foremost, cultivated one thing and one thing only: hate for Russians. I have done videos on it, and on those videos, I said, look, it's weaponized hate. It's weaponized rage. It was, you make sure you go into this country and you cultivate rage and hate. And Hitler, somebody said Hitler was from Melbourne. No, I think he was from Pasadena, California. But at any rate, so you go into a country and you tell them, whoever you don't like, if it's Taiwan, you tell them it's China. If it's Russia, you tell them, I mean, if it's Ukraine, you tell them it's Russia. And eventually it'll be Kashmir and India and things like that, right? You go there and you cultivate rage and anger and hate towards the target of your ire. Why do you do that? Because you want these people to be really stupid. You want them to be suicidal. You want them to be so damn dumb that they are willing to tell their citizens to go march into a minefield and blow themselves to hell by the hundreds of thousands. How are you going to do that if these people are rational? You're not going to be able to do it if they're rational. So you must create an environment where they are irrational. In doing that, you go in and you cultivate hate. You know, I went to and once you got them angry and enraged at this group, now you can get them to march straight into minefields. Now you can say to them, look, you all have to give your lives. You have to give everything in order to stop this horrible, terrible evil that's on your border. In fact, did you know that you are in a fight in this universe, a fight against good and evil? And you are on the side of good. And those people across the border, be they Russians, whatever the hell, be they Iranians, be they Syrians, whatever the hell, right? Be they Chinese, okay? Those groups, those people, they are the evil. And we're going to assist you. You're the point people in this thing. You're the one that's going to take us home. You're the one that's going to save the universe. But we're going to arm you. We're going to train you. We're going to help you out. And, you know, eventually we'll be there to help you, which we really won't. And you're going to be the point person in this universe, in this fight against good and evil. So that's the setup that the neocons do when they go into this country, such as Ukraine, and they find these schlumps who are so damn stupid ideologues, and that are angry anyway, and they're running around saying we're going to lead the white race and to run the world, whatever the hell, right? And the neocons are like, yeah, that's a good idea. You lead the white race to rule the world. We got you covered, bro. Like, can we start with the Russians? And of course the Nazis are like, yeah, great idea. We'll start with the Russians. Yeah, you sure will. Right. And here's your arms. Here's this. Here's that. Oh, by the way, there's a minefield over there. Walk right on into it if you don't mind. And by then, they're so pumped up. They're like, yeah, we'll walk into a minefield if we have to. And look, if you all die, just understand that if everybody in Ukraine dies, you're doing it for a good reason. You're doing it to execute a universal fight against good and evil. Man, it's a wonderful thing you're doing there. And then, of course, the poor idiots in Ukraine will be like, yeah, we're fighting against good and evil. Show me a minefield. I'm walking into it. That's where we are now. And we are running out of Ukrainians. And if the neocons have their way, the Poles will be next. The Poles will surely be next if the neocons have their way. And I mean, look at what's happening with the Poles. They're like, hey, sure do hate the Russians, don't you? Yes, we do. Just like the Ukrainians. Yeah, just like the Ukrainians, we hate the Russians. Excellent. Excellent. We're almost out of Ukrainians. We'll give you a call in a couple months when we run out of Ukrainians. We might need a little bit of a hand in this universal fight against good and evil. And since you hate the Russians, we told you'd be happy to join in. Polish leadership is, of course we would. Great. They got some minefields laying over there. No more bodies really to throw into the minefields. Right, the Ukrainians. So, hey, next man up, as they say in the NFL, right? Somebody's injured, next man up. And so there we go. I guess that's what Ashton-Cirillo's job will be. Next man up, right? To tell you, to call Ashton-Cirillo be on the phone with the Poles. Hey, Poles, yeah, next man up. We're out of Ukrainians. The Russians still got a lot of mines in those minefields. They need bodies to eat. Let's get marching. That seems to be the plan. And meanwhile, the Russian propagandists around the world will be hunted down one by one. What I find interesting is, I'm going to go behind the scenes a little bit and tell you what I really think. You know, I know, we all know, this wasn't a good look. The world looked at this and went, hey, jumping Jehoshaphat, what the hell? I mean, am I watching? I heard so many people say how surreal that video was. You know why? Because we're sane. Sane people will look at that video and in horror and will be aghast. Sane people will look at this and be like, the hell did I just see what I think I saw? I mean, wasn't that your reaction? Wasn't your reaction? Did I just see what I think I saw? Did I just see somebody who was talking about contradictory things? We're going to hunt down journalists in your country and kill them. Why? God and liberty. First of all, that's God. Here's what I think. If God, I'm not saying anything about whether you don't or don't believe in God. I respect everybody's right to believe in anything they want to. So I respect your right if you do or don't believe in God, whatever. But for the purpose of this video, here's what I'm saying. For the purpose of the argument that they're making. If God didn't like Kremlin propagandists, don't you think God could handle that? If God, we're doing this for God and liberty. If God didn't like, God sitting there like, man, I can't stand these Kremlin propagandists, but I'm kind of powerless to address them. Perhaps I should call somebody. Hey, Sarah Ashton-Cirillo, yeah, can you give me a hand with these Kremlin propagandists? You know, I got a lot going on. I got floods. I got planets to move around. I got, all kind of interstellar things going on. I got to figure out what I'm going to do with these aliens. Can you give me a hand? And Sarah Ashton-Cirillo obviously would say, sure, God, I'm on it. The idea, the concept in somebody's mind that they're doing God's work implies that God can't, doesn't it? I got to do this for God. Doesn't that kind of imply that God can't do it? If you believe in God, there's a contradiction there. I believe in a God who is all powerful, except he's got a little trouble handling the Kremlin propagandists. So he's asking me to give him a hand. Contradiction number one. Contradiction number two. We are going to your country all over the world. We're going to find these Kremlin propagandists and we're going to kill them for God and liberty. Liberty. Isn't that kind of the individual's right to do what they want? So a person who believed in liberty, so I have a lot of friends who are libertarians. You know, I'm a lefty, but I got a lot of great friends that are libertarians, good people. I may disagree with them in some areas. A lot of them are really anti-war people and do some work together. God bless the libertarians for the anti-war work and the pro-Assange work and all that, except for the schlumpy ones who are going along with the neoliberals on this war. But, okay, liberty. Doesn't that mean, if you're doing something for liberty, that you believe in the individual's rights to say what they want? If you actually believed in liberty, what you would say is, even if it's wrong, even if they're making it up and lying, if they're just making everything up and they're just outright lying, if you believe in liberty, you'd say, well, I may not like it, but that's the individual's freedom and liberty to do and say as they please. So according to them, they're going to kill you. They're going to hunt you down and kill you for saying things they don't like to support the right of people, liberty, to say whatever they'd like and do what they like. Don't you think there's a little bit of a contradiction there? God can't really get the job done, so he's called on a bunch of guys who just coincidentally happen to have swastika tattoos all over them, and they're browsing through a copy of Mein Kampf, and they're standing up for liberty, the freedom to do any and everything, except we're going to kill you for it. Again, the contradiction of these people is so glaring that anybody that looks at it, they're just like it's obvious. Now, what I think happened is somebody, certainly not in the State Department, because I guarantee you, Blinken and Sullivan and Newland and these clowns, they probably wrote it. They're not calling saying, hey, this is a bad idea, man. They read it, and they're clapping. They like watched it in the White House Situation Room, and there was a round of applause. They were high-fiving. Victoria, good job with the way you wrote that here. But I think, we should have had a few more snarls during the word God and liberty. Yes, in fact, the neocons were 100% behind this, and they probably wrote the damn thing, and they probably, stood up and clapped. My understanding is that someone didn't like it, someone pushed back on it, and that someone, as I understand it, was like some conservatives in Congress. We're like, oh, geez, this is not what we're trying to do. This is not the look we're trying to have. That the neoliberals looked at this pure fascism. I mean, that's pure. That is, man. I mean, I'll put it like this. The Nazis would put that out. The Third Reich, if Goebbels went to put that out, then Hitler would have cut it. If Goebbels went to put that out, Hitler would have looked at it and said, dude, you're just over the top here, man. I mean, come on, we got to be a little nicer. I mean, that's not we can't just come out and say that, right? Literally Goebbels was smart enough, at least. They may have been evil, but they were smart enough to at least puts out something with a smiley face. These lunatics, they just put out anything. We're going to kill the Russians. Yay. We're going around the world and doing, hooray. Russian propagandists got to die. Woo. And apparently somebody said, hey, not a good look. And so Sarah Ashton-Cirillo first puts out another video saying, what I really meant to say was, you guys misunderstood me. What I was really trying to say was that we were going to hunt them down and take them to The Hague for justice. That ain't what you said. You didn't say, hey, we're going to make sure that they face the justice of the International Criminal Court. No, we're going to hunt them down. And some bitches going to pay. Oh, we're going to peel their little skins off. Oh, they will die, and they will just be tortured to death. And their children, too. And their little dogs, too. If they got dogs, we're killing their dogs. Beating them to death. Choking them with our bare hand. That's the way they were coming across. Everybody's like, what the? Oh, get me out of here. These people are nuts. So this is what we're dealing with. And then eventually what to me, all we've got is backtrack. All we've got is a backtrack. They're backing off and they realize they're over the top, but it's too late. It's already out there. People know who you are through the New Yorker. In fact, nobody's really even surprised. And in fact, they suspended Sarah Ashton-Cirillo. They didn't fire Sarah Ashton-Cirillo. They suspended Sarah Ashton-Cirillo. And the guy on that video was correct. You ain't a real country I've been saying this for a while. There's no such place as Ukraine. It's not a country. Their government was overthrown. The neocons, neoliberals, same people, came in and started pillaging and looting the place. Joe Biden and the Biden crew went in there, filled their filthy, stinking pockets full of pilfered loot, built some god-awful bio research labs, 40 some of them in this country, 40 some bio research labs. God only knows what they were looking at. That ain't a country. And now you've got this person as your spokesman. This is not a country. This is a glove. Yes, my friends, I'll say it again. When a burglar, when a criminal goes to commit a crime, you all watch the movies. What do? They put on a black glove. They're always black gloves. They put on gloves. And in the movies, they kind of go like this just to make sure the gloves feel good. And next thing you know, those stinking gloves are around somebody's neck and they're choking them out. In Act 3, somebody's getting choked out. That's the gloves. Why? Because they don't want to leave fingerprints. That's all Ukraine is. It's a black glove for the neocons to put on so they don't leave their fingerprints. Now, and it ain't Russia that they're trying to hide their fingerprints on. They're proud for everybody to know they're at war with Russia. It's the destruction of Europe. Look at Germany. Germany's going straight to hell. And they attacked Germany. They blew up the Nord Stream and they own the German leadership, so they kissed their ass to do it. It's like the old, the old joke about I'll kiss your ass and give you 3 hours to draw a crowd. That's what Schultz and Baerbock are doing. They're giving Biden 3 hours to draw a crowd before they kiss his butt in public. And the German people sit there facing humiliation, facing horror, facing deindustrialization, facing all these terrible things. A terrible future and not so great a present. And I wouldn't want to be in Germany this winter. I don't know how it turns out, but let's just hope it's a warm winter. Let's hope that for the Germans. They're run by traitors. They're run by a quisling government that doesn't work for them. And that's what Europe is facing. And why? Because the U.S. blew up Nord Stream. The U.S. cannot have their fingerprints all over the destruction of Europe. So they had to put this black glove on. That is Ukraine. The problem is the glove's got a hole in it, and it's a Nazi hole, and their fingers are sticking through. And Sarah Ashton-Cirillo is the hole in the glove. People can look at Sarah Ashton-Cirillo and see their fingerprints. Oh no, I'm getting like Sarah Ashton-Cirillo and see their fingerprints, and they will pay for God and liberty. Whatever that means, right? That's the bottom line. That's why the problem that the neocons have with Sarah Ashton-Cirillo is there's a hole in the glove. People can look at that and say, you mean tell me that is your representation of all that's good and lovely? Get out of here with that. Yikes, we're running. There you go. Well, I got to get ready to run, people. I got big things to do. I certainly appreciate everybody taking out their time this morning. But as you know, when I come on in the morning, I got to go to the office. So have a wonderful day. I'm heading for K Street. Yes, sir. My office is 4 blocks from the White House. How about that? You know, sometimes I like see the neoliberals and stuff walking down the street, walking around right in front of me. I don't say anything, but I see some faces that I'm familiar with and I just smile. I wonder if they know who I am. Peace. I'm out.